You know? I woke up at 5 a.m. just so I could watch the Crunchyroll Awards. I'm so tired, but it'll be worth it to see Freeman win Anime of the Year!
And the Anime Award goes to Solo Leveling.
Oh, what is this bullshit?
So I've come to the conclusion that I'm not exactly ordinary. For starters, that joke I made about waking up at 5 a.m. for the Crunchyroll Awards wasn't exactly a joke. Secondly, I don't really like the normie slop or farming mid-storytelling, somehow award-winning anime Solo Leveling. It could just be for the fact that I am a loser weeb with a Chinatsu maid profile picture, which is why I've decided to cleanse myself and become ordinary. And what better way to find out how to be ordinary than... that's a little on the nose. How to Be Ordinary, or Shoshimin, the Japanese name, which I will be using for the rest of this video, is an anime that came out last year and was not exactly popular. Allow me to paint a picture for you. Bleach comes back with its second part of the 1000-Year Blood War, the only good part of Jujutsu Kaisen comes out, Horimiya comes back with a glorious return, and I guess the two Rent-a-Girlfriend fans are thriving right now. But it doesn't end there. As fall, we had Frieren. Winter, we had Solo Leveling. In spring, we had the long-awaited return of Konosuba. And we come back to summer a year later and, oh hey, maybe it wasn't all that bad. In all seriousness, I know that to ordinary people, maybe using my anime list isn't exactly a favorable way of tracking popularity, but it does show how many people are excited for each show, and sometimes that in itself is telling. For example, when I saw Oshinoko was the most popular anime of the summer season, I knew that anime fans were fucked. No, don't get me wrong, Oshinoko Season 2 is probably one of my favorite seasons that I've ever watched, but I also know that time has not been favorable to the reputation of Oshinoko past Season 1. And when comparing the second season to other animes that were most popular during their season, it's not exactly close. Now, the reason I bring up this extensive lore dump is to talk about the fact that Shoshimi did not come out at a time where it was exactly motivating to be a seasonal watcher, so it's kind of easy to see why it flew under the radar. I mean, hold up, let's check where this ranked again.
There, right there. Look at the non-existent fans. Look at the title of the show. Look at the 7.32. Oh, please, it's mid. Totally mid. Is it mid or underrated?
Yeah, don't expect any, if many more, musical references on this channel. So when I first started watching Shoshimin, I was looking for an anime that could give me any bit of dopamine in this barren wasteland of a summer season, and unfortunately, it did not scratch that itch. One thing that could have saved Shoshimin is if it had an opening I really liked. I go more into why in a different video, but essentially, if I really like an opening, I reminisce about it a lot more. And this opening didn't really catch my interest, even though it was sung by Eve, who is a pretty popular artist. Now, the ED is definitely more unique visually, but still the song isn't exactly something to write home about. One thing I need to clarify is that, although I've been listing off rather negative things about this show, I don't think it's bad. In fact, one thing that always has me coming back is the main character Kobito, and the way that he interacts with the people around him, whether it's Kengo or her. Now, the main thing that lost me about Shoshimin is that there wasn't a goal that I was interested in reaching with the show, and the reason for this is that the main character, Kobito, idealizes the concept of mundanity, and it reflects a lot in the way that the shots are done and the way that the characters speak. Now, this is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it does a really good job reinforcing the themes of Shoshimin, but it ultimately makes the pacing feel too slow for my liking. And in a season where I just needed dopamine, it's not what I was looking for at all. An example of this slow pacing is how, originally in episode 3, Kobito and Kengo are reminiscing about how Kobito was in elementary school. After this interesting conversation, they end up spending a majority of the next episode solving a single case and never even leaving the room. Sure, it's unique, but damn, it is hard to continue sometimes. So even though Shoshimin has unique visual storytelling, I had to drop it. And I wasn't going to also speed up the episode on an alternative website because ever since One Piece, I've tried to endure episodes as much as I can, knowing that it doesn't get much worse than One Piece. So if I can't get through this, then it's just something I don't want to look back at. And I was never planning to until something unexpected happened, which was that Shoshimin had a banger opening.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I was not expecting this anime to have a banger opening, but here we are. And all I'm saying is that I don't expect it to win any awards, but if it loses to Solo Leveling next year, I will burn down a van, and I put that on my goat Aqua Hoshino. So after reluctantly starting the show again from episode 6, I was ready for whatever it was going to throw at me if it meant I could make it to season 2. And fitting, because the director of Shoshimin themselves said that from episode 5 onwards, this show becomes more akin to mystery. But to me, the biggest mystery is how Kobito puts up with this psychopath. What is an op? Op is a slang abbreviation for the word opponent or enemy. It is commonly used to refer to someone who is viewed as an adversary or someone whom one has conflict or disagreement. Who is Osanai's biggest op? Oh hey look, it's me! Yeah, I don't really like Osanai, and what really kickstarted all of this was episode 6. What started off as a hunt for all the sweets in town turned into, oh, hey Kengo, a kidnapping! So it's revealed that Osanai was a target of a kidnapping, and she let it happen while also leaving hints so that she could get her kidnappers arrested while looking completely innocent. Now, that is some next level hating, and I respect it very much. But you may be wondering why I hate this character if I respect that play, and it's because after all this is revealed, she just dips. Yeah, she just leaves Kobito in the dust, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, imagine you risked your life, as well as someone else's who ended up getting stabbed, to save someone's life, and they just dip on you. And not only that, the first episode of the second season, she ends up dating this guy. Meet Takahiko Urino. For most of season 2, he spends the better half of a year trying to find the culprit behind the local arson cases. Yeah, I think we knew where this was going. She set up all these cases just to motivate him and then eventually say, hey, I never had faith that you could solve the cases in the first place. What? The anime does not hold back on trying to make her look like a bad person. In the second opening, she literally has the pupils of a snake. After doing a whole breakdown on how she spent the better half of a year fucking around with one dude, Kobito takes initiative and starts hanging out with her again. Yeah, he deserved what came to him in the next episode. I do have to admit, as a character, Osanai is pretty good at what she does. She is the catalyst for a lot of things. The only thing I'd hold her back on, from a writing standpoint, is that she's kind of the reason why a majority of the second season feels a little bloated. All I'm saying is that this case didn't have to be a year. This whole arc didn't have to be 6 episodes. Either way, for the most part, it was pretty interesting, which is one aspect about Shoshimin and the way that it presents its mystery. You see, when I was first writing this script, I was going to talk about how the first opening was so boring because it took about 15 seconds for the vocals to start, and then I found out that the second opening takes 20 seconds for the vocals to start and still dog walks the first opening. And the reason for this is that there are so many moving pieces that it makes this opening stand out so much, and I have to say that the riff at the beginning of this song is godly. Listen, if there's one thing I could suggest to you after this video, it's just watching this opening. I promise you, it's worth the minute and a half of your time. But for now, I want to focus on the actual animation and how the director was able to turn a novel into the anime that we see now. First off, see these black bars right here? Well, simply put, this is Shoshimin's way of telling you that all your attention should be at the center of the screen. But that's not the only creative liberty that Shoshimin takes, as the director Kanabe made it clear that when it came to OSTs, he also wanted to minimize the background music as much as possible. All of this was so that the camera could capture the attention of the viewers, and force them to pay attention to the whispered voice of Kobito and whoever he has the pleasure of talking to. All these tricks made it so that I could discover the essence of Kobito as a character, as well as discover the connecting thread between this work and the author Yonezawa's past work, which I will get to right now. Now, personally, I like to try and connect authors' works so that I can find out what influences them to write a story. And with Hyoka, this is what I got. This is said by the main character of Hyoka: if I don't have to do it, I won't. If I have to do it, I'll make it quick. And from Jogoro Kobito: an ordinary person must never stand out. They must spend every day in peace, and do everything possible to avoid anything that interferes with that. And that's all for Hyoka today. I know it may seem like I was building up to this great analysis between the two, but these two lines are really all I need to connect them. You see, what both these lines convey is that both characters yearn for simplicity, and I think that this is a feeling that Yonezawa constantly tries to go for. I mean, after going his separate ways with Osanai, he ended up dating a girl that he didn't know anything about, and she also cheated on him later on and he did not care at all. All of this for the sake of having that feeling of normality. By the way, this is the face he's making after she's revealing to him that she cheated on him. That is cuck behavior if I've ever seen it. Now, from the title of this video, you may be wondering why I say that Shoshimin is a frustrating watch. And other than Osanai constantly running her mouth, the main reason is that I disagree with Kobito on a fundamental level. The idea that you're so tired of your own intelligence that you feel the need to be a downgraded version of yourself is something that will never sit right with me. It's one thing if you want to understand your peers better, but to be a straight up people pleaser is insane. And this is a sentiment that is also shared with his fellow classmate, Kengo, which is why he's my favorite character. Either way, the thing that frustrates me is that I'm hooked on this show now, but I continue to watch as a character that I sympathize for chases a goal that is ultimately worthless. I can only hope that in the future Kobito realizes that being ordinary isn't exactly all it's hyped up to be, but that is a mystery for the future because the season's coming to an end soon and I'm not going to read the light novels. But another mystery that you could solve is the future of this channel if you subscribe. Who knows, maybe in the future I'll be an ordinary guy who enjoys ordinary things. Or not.